Peace, 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 peace. I like that. Now we back. Now we back. Yeah. Think it's time to go streaming. I think we're finna go live. I think it's time to go streaming. I think we're finna go live. There go. Be right back. Get a little juice, a little water, something like that. I think we have got it. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we got it. A little bit of the water. All right, what's happening? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening, yo? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening, yo? Peace, 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 peace. Hope you're doing well wherever you are today or whenever you're watching this. It is Sunday, the 9th March, something like that, 2019. At least that's what we call in this time. Peace, Jumbo, Assalamu alaikum, Islam, Hotel, all of that. Got some things to talk about. You know what I mean? I really want to, I am going to do a video about Mike on his own, you know, and really put some things together to really drive home this point, or just you know, put this down for the record. But I wanted to discuss some things with y'all today. I feel like it's a good way to learn. I also wanted to talk about the 2020 presidential election that's coming up. Some amazing things happening right now, and I think it would be wise of us to take advantage of this particular time in this situation. And you know, we definitely want to get a little bit into the, excuse the popcorn, seen Lego movie today. Definitely wanted to get into the Holy Quran Circle 7. Got to get into that. You know what I mean? What would a live stream, what would a class session be without that? You feel me? We'll save that for later. We'll get to this in a little bit. We'll come back to this. Just say what's up. I just seen a couple people. Angel. I ain't gonna send it out. If you can't send it out, I ain't really tripping. People find it when they find it. Peace, Lawrence. Angel. That question real quick. Zimic paralegal. So please explain the origins of Moorish. No, thank you. I'm gonna continue on, but I appreciate the question. We're gonna talk about. Let's talk about Mike first, man, because that's important to me. Michael Jackson, the King of Pop, MJ. Ah, man. What's going on right now is it's part of it is saddening. Part of it is frustrating. But I think the biggest part for me is it's helping me realize just how effective propaganda is, and also the poor place we are in as a society in terms of critical thinking. You know, I had just a little personal part about myself. I was in this group chat with my brothers, and we've been going back and forth about a bunch of different topics for a minute. And when it gets to the topic of Mike, you know, I told him a while ago, I'd appreciate it if we speak about it with some respect, because that person is really important to me. You know, and I don't like the disrespectful way that Moorish people, so-called black people specifically, the way we talk about Michael Jackson is really it's kind of sickening to me. You know what I mean? Considering um, who that person was. You know what I mean? And what Mike was doing. Um, and so boom, this documentary comes out, and I get to the group chat, and it's a bunch of just disrespectful things. You know, Michael Jackson is a, I ain't gonna repeat the words, but just a lot of disrespectful stuff. And and at first I was like, let me let that go. But then I really sat and thought about it, and I said, nah, man, we can't allow the slander, or I can't allow the slander um, of a person like Michael Jackson, because he was living, you know what I mean, the love, true peace, freedom, and justice. You know what I mean? He was really about love instead of hate, and really pushing that energy to the entire world, though. You know what I mean? Heal the world. Man in the Mirror, the Earth song, man. Oh my goodness. You know what I mean? Man in the Mirror, Black or White. Um, man, so many amazing pieces of music. And the energy and the message in the music, you know what I mean? More than just it being entertaining. That's the biggest thing I think that's important about Mike, is to understand that deeper than the entertaining aspect of his art and what he was doing was the message behind it. Go listen to the Earth song. Go watch that video again. And think about that in the context of climate change, quote unquote climate change, global warming, and how we have to. I mean, I don't even want to get into that, but we really need to make some changes on a massive scale in a major way, or else this planet, you know what I mean? Like, we're not going to be here on this planet as humanity. Forget about Moors or, Europeans or quote unquote black or white. Or, it don't matter what nationality you represent. We all finna be affected. And anyway, I'm getting off topic. But Mike was speaking on this back then. Superstar power. You know what I mean? He was speaking about he was speaking about us knowing our history, and um, he was talking about how the history books are lying. You know what I mean? They're not telling the true history. This is the greatest, the biggest pop star of the world. Telling us we need to go look into history. We need to do some studying. You know what I mean? Oh man. So it's many different layers to why I he was rocking them sevens too. Oh yeah. Rocking them sevens. And so it's many different reasons why I wanna do a better job. Also, personally for me, when I was younger, when I was I guess like 13, 14, 15, when they was first really slandering Mike, um, I didn't speak up. You know what I mean? Like I should have, when they was calling him Wacko Jacko. And I remember being a young, a kid, young man, older child, young teen, I guess. Um, and hearing the slander and people talking crazy about Mike, and I was like, oh man, Mike, you looking kind of crazy out here. I know you ain't doing Mike, but the face and you know. But now it's different. I refuse to sit back and just nah. So we finna get into it. So what you trying to say, Rami? You would let your kid? Or what you trying to say, Rami? You think it's cool for grown men to sleep in the bed with other kids? Or what you trying to say, Rami? I mean, he was only them and them. Check it out. Check it out, man. First, we got to get something all the way clear. We cannot put Michael Jackson in the category as just another regular human being. He wasn't. His life, his experiences was not. I don't think there's anybody on this earth, maybe, that's lived the life that he was living. He didn't have a childhood. Go listen to a song called Childhood. He literally was working like a grown man from 5, 6 years old. You You don't even understand how to relate to that. I don't. So I say that one, just in understanding his mentality and his experiences are different than the rest of the people, growing up in this world. Not many people live the life that he lived, and I think one, that's important to really think about. Two, I think it's very important to establish and keep repeating the fact that he was investigated for over 10 years by the Federal Bureau of Investigations and a bunch of different other agencies connected to it. And they couldn't find any evidence. Over 10 years of an investigation, didn't find anything. So either we're trying to say now that the King of Pop was also the greatest criminal ever. Is this what we're trying to say? He was just such an amazing criminal that he was able to get rid of all the evidence, and there's no evidence anywhere that they could find of him. Get out of here, man. Get out of here. He was found innocent of the charges, so you can't put that on him legally. Now let's get to the people in that documentary, Leaving Neverland. I'm supposed to believe the guy that testified under oath, nothing happened. Mike dies. Some years later, he pops back up, documentary. Mind you, he has a lawsuit going, hundreds of millions of dollars. Now his story changes. It's on HBO. Interviews with Oprah. I'm pretty sure a book is going to be rolling out sooner or later. And I'm just supposed to take these people's word for it? The director? Who is the director? Do you know? Some European? What is his credentials? What is his credibility? What is his upbringing? We're just supposed to believe it because it's a 4-hour documentary on HBO? Oh, but wait a minute. If it's a 4-hour documentary on YouTube about how so-called black people are really Moors, that's just crazy talk. Even if you bring the documents and the evidence and all of this, I don't know what you're talking about. That's that craziness. Yeah, nah. That can't be real. Noble Drew Ali wasn't really a prophet. Nah, that's crazy. Oh, but this guy, no, we believe him because it just sounds so. No, man, it's called propaganda. I want you to really look it up. Do some studying. Understand how that works. They tell the lie over and over and over. Get your emotions worked into it. Get your feelings. And they convince you of things. It's working right now with Michael Jackson, but understand this can work and it does work, and it has been used towards many different people and different reasons or different purposes. Like Dave Chappelle. Remember a while back when he was being called crazy and a crackhead? Propaganda. It's how it works. There's a reason why they, I don't like to use the spooky they, but there's a reason why Michael Jackson has been attacked the way that he has for so long. It's a particular reason. And I just found out, 4 or 5 days ago that Michael Jackson was in the process of purchasing all the rights to Marvel and Universal. Back then, 2001, 2002, something like that. He had already owned half of Sony's publishing. Beyonce's catalog. Do you understand how much money that would be in terms of streaming? Beyonce. But beyond that, he was about to own Marvel. So all the characters, all the comic books, all the movies, the roller coaster rides, the action figures, the toys. Oh man, he was gonna get a little piece of that. It's too much power. He was starting to heal the World Foundation. Too much power. See, it's a lot of business in war. It's a lot of business in conflict. Michael Jackson was a person, an individual that was single-handedly going to be able to alleviate a lot of problems going on in the world. And he knew about who we really were, who we really are, which is why he was telling us that the history books are a lie. It's a problem. That's a problem. But, you know, you just want to believe what the media tells you, despite all the evidence that says to the contrary. I just had to get that one off because it's been a bit frustrating seeing just how many people believe, you know, and especially celebrity. Who was it? D.L. Hughley, you know, Oprah, oh, man, John Legend, you know, but ultimately, what it lets me know is that it lets me know that you can't really be worried about what people think. You know what I mean? Because, man, people will turn on you quick. You know what I mean? Be it Michael Jackson, be it Kanye, be it Jesus. You know what I mean? They may turn on you. They may believe lies about you. You can't, you know, and the biggest thing is that I realized in looking at Mike is that you can't resort to being mean or to dropping down to their level just because they are slandering you or they are being foul towards you. You know, and that's something that I realized with Mike. If you look, you know, he never really, at least to my knowledge, he never really lashed out with meanness towards the press like that. And they were, you know, they were really attacking him and really trying to destroy this man. And that's an example that we need to use moving forward, you know, just in our everyday life, is doing our best to love instead of hate. You know what I mean? The highest self instead of the lowest self. Let me check these questions real quick. Yeah. Luz V. I can't even pronounce it. Luz Taylor. That's how I'm gonna just call you right now. Luz Taylor. Propaganda by Edward L. Bernays. Yes, I actually meant to go grab the book. It's in my little storage bin in the room, but I just didn't feel like going running to get it. So it's being lazy. My bad, y'all. But it's a very important book. Please go read it. Go get it. It'll help you understand what's going on, especially in the media today. Elvis. Oh, speaking of that, Jermaine Fowler. In the video I'm gonna put together with Mike, it's a clip of him when he's speaking in Harlem in, like, I think it's 2002, something like that. He's speaking in Harlem and he's breaking down how, you know, the story of our entertainers always in the same. They go broke and, you know, they spend all their money on cars and clothes and all of that's nonsense. And you know, we're getting robbed. And we have been getting robbed left and right for decades upon decades. But he goes into speaking about how, you know, quote unquote, black people, Moorish people, you know, we created jazz and bebop and rock and roll. And he goes into Elvis and I forget the brother's name, but the brother that actually wrote all the songs that Elvis took. You know, he spoke about that brother and how we were the originators of rock and roll, and they kind of just took that. Um, and I find it really ironic, you know, uh, this effort to try to frame and um, portray Michael Jackson as this pedophile, when there's no evidence of that. Meanwhile, Elvis, you know, speaks for itself. Just look into it. Just look into it. And still, it ain't no documentary. But you see, that's another scheme. And I want to clarify that because we shouldn't be thinking, oh, why are they going after the Moorish or the quote unquote cool? The argument shouldn't be why are they doing this to the black people and not the white people, or the Moorish people and not the European people. The argument should more so be we need to address the people that are doing things that are evil or doing the things that are wrong, regardless of skin color or nationality. Um, I think that's kind of how we need to frame that discussion. Um, yeah. Yeah, no, but it isn't Chuck Berry where Elvis took Chuck Berry's songs, but it isn't Chuck Berry that I'm thinking about. Michael Jackson actually names him in the interview. I'm gonna put it together and you'll see in the clip. And the dude is widely known. I'm blanking on his name right now. Um, but I wanted to shift gears a little bit away from. Nah, wasn't much. I mean, it could have also Elvis not. Let me not say that. Elvis could have also been taking Chuck Berry's songs, but the person Michael Jackson was speaking on was someone different. Um, but let me shift a little bit off of the entertainment and get into the 2020 election. Um, the 2020 presidential election is what I'm speaking about specifically, but the election in general, we should always be aware of what's going on in the elections. Um, but the presidential election, I think, is a very unique time for us to focus because there are several candidates um, that seem to be more open-minded and more revolutionary and more progressive than I've ever seen before. And they are well, first let me name the names. We have Bernie Sanders, of course. You also have this woman named Marianne Williamson, Marianne, Williamson, Williamson. You have Tulsi Gabbard, Tulsi Gabbard, Tulsi Gabbard, and Andrew Yang. Um, uh, those four people. I mean, there's other people also, but those four people for me are the ones that I'm really paying attention to. Those four seem to have um, the most progressive, or the most forward-thinking approach to this, to the presidency, and to just leading this country. And I know there's let me clean this up. I know that there's something. Hold on a second. I know that there's some of y'all. I know there's some of y'all out there right now watching, watching from your side, like, oh, how dare that, Moore? Oh, that we're Moorish Americans. We shouldn't be voting in that. Man, relax. Take it easy. I think it may be Jackie Wilson. That name sounds familiar. Sorry. It may be Jackie Wilson. Do Birds for the artist. I'm gonna find out, and I'm gonna make that video shortly. Anyways, I know that there's plenty of Moors that feel we shouldn't be voting and we're not a part of this U.S. thing, blah, blah, blah. Well, if you're living in the U.S. and you're living under the U.S. laws, United States of America, if you're living within the United States of America, um, or if you have to conduct business at the United States of America, all of that, etc., 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 then it would be wise of us to put ourselves in the best position to survive, prosper, live, maintain while we're here. Or we could leave. But I feel that I feel to just sit I feel to just sit on the sidelines and talk about things and not make a move one way or another um, doesn't help us. And we ultimately, I feel like we're squandering, or we're just, um, squandering away a good opportunity. Um, and what do I mean by this opportunity? Well, Andrew Yang, um, first let me say this. Andrew Yang and Tulsi Gabbard, and I don't know about Marianne Williamson, but I know Tulsi and Andrew Yang specifically. They are asking for donations to make it onto the debate stage for the Democratic primary election, so that their voices can be heard on the same stage as Bernie Sanders. Now, I think that you should look into those people to understand what their policies and what they're speaking on, what they're really about. Um, I don't want you to just believe me, but these three people, Marianne Williamson, Tulsi Gabbard, Andrew Yang, I feel are honest enough to really listen to Moors and address our concerns as being identified as Moorish Americans and not blacks or Negroes or colors or African Americans. I feel honestly that all three of those people would be willing to truly listen and hear our perspective. Especially, not to say that Bernie Sanders wouldn't, but Bernie Sanders is in a much higher, much more developed political machine kind of vehicle. You know what I mean? He got things moving. These folks, however, are on a more independent level, and they are, Andrew Yang was on the Breakfast Club. He's listening. He's wanting to connect to so-called black people. You don't go on the Breakfast Club if that's not what you're trying to do. And they're seeking out donations. So my thing was, imagine what would happen if Andrew Yang, Tulsi Gabbard, Marianne Williamson, if they received donations, $1, everybody donate $1. But if all of a sudden they receive, $1,000 of 1,000 different Moors donating $1, saying we appreciate what you're doing. We would like, as our community, as this constituency, we would love to know, if you would be willing to address the identity and nationality issue. Here's this is $1 each, but we all represent one vote. Yeah, now we got a little more power. Now we got some ears. When you see 5,000 votes potentially, you say, hold on now, who are these Moorish what now? What we talking about? Islam, Circle 7, I'm there. You know what I mean? It's an opportunity to get people to listen to our perspective and our concerns and our grievances. Because if you notice, they're speaking about, what's the word? Reparations. They're speaking about reparations. In the mainstream, it's the hashtag, under the hashtag ADOS, African Descendants of Slavery, and how African descendants of slavery deserve reparations. And they're talking about the different kinds of reparations. But I said, oh, wait a minute now. Before we get to that, let's not just box us in the African descendants of slavery box. No, let's get our name right. Let's get properly identified so we can receive reparations correctly. But in order for us to do that, In order for us to make those kind of claims or to get that action happening, we gotta speak up. We have to have our voice be heard, meaning we gotta participate. So I'm asking you, yes, you watching, yes, you. Don't stop looking around. I'm talking to you. I'm asking you to go donate $1 to Andrew Yang's campaigns. If you just look up Andrew Yang 2020, I'm sure his website will come up. Donate $1. Go to Tulsi Gabbard. Donate $1. And in a little comment, because you could leave like a little comment, we support you, blah, 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 blah. You could just say, hey, Islam, I'm a Moorish American, us Moors here in the United States of America support you. We want to see you in a debate, whatever. But just let them know, like, hey, now, we here. What's happening? We just want to let you know. We watching. We want to support you. If you're willing to rock with us and get us, hey, man, we all the way supporting it. See, because the goal here, man, is getting us free. And we just got to get this conversation going. Because once it gets going, it's over. And once it gets going, it's over. We can't be playing around. Oh, well, this the U.S. and like, come on, man. We got to think. We got a great opportunity here. And what it'll cost you? $1. You mean to tell me you can't cough up 100 pennies? Come on now. You know you can cough up 100 pennies. I know you got it. 4 quarters. You know it. $1. Go to Tulsi Gabbard, do the same thing. Go to Marianne Williamson and do the same thing. That's $3 once a week. Just donate $1. You know what I mean? That it's a small thing, but understand. Oh, and think about this. Maybe it doesn't work. Maybe they completely ignore you. They ain't trying to hear the Moors out. They don't speak nothing about the Moors. Hey, man, gave it a shot. Did that $1 was that? But imagine what'll happen if that $1 propels the conversation to the nation. If us donating, coming together and collectively donating $1 each, if that small act of all of us donating 4 quarters, just chipping it into the pot, that brings our conversation and our plight to the national stage and ultimately to the world stage. And now everything is changing because we're no longer being addressed as blacks and Negroes and African Americans, but as Moorish Americans. Imagine, all by $1. Donate today. Ooh, I could have made me a little commercial right there, man. Let me see what you guys talking about. Let's see. Benet G. Reparations is further separating the Moors from the land. I disagree with that, but I appreciate your perspective. I guarantee if the reparation take place, the requirements will be you must be strictly African, aka black. Dude Bergs, how can you guarantee that, sir? How do you know? You know the future? I don't think you can guarantee that. I appreciate your opinion. I respect your view on what it may be, but I don't know if you can guarantee that. That's a mighty tall order to guarantee, you feel me? Yeah, right. Jermaine Fowler, Democratic have like 20 candidates to divide up the votes. Right, yeah. I've been noticing that, and they've been sprinkling in, certain people, Kamala Harris, Cory Booker, excuse me, bad cough here, but they've been sprinkling in people, you know what I mean, to kind of siphon away votes, to kind of divide everybody, and it's like, oh no, those are the real, and then all of those are the, and then all of the, nah, it's some real ones that are running, but It's some Fugazi cats as well. Uh, Moorish media, Islam. Okay, let me address this. I've been waiting for you to go on live so I could leave you some messages on how you went at young Pharaoh and Seti. Great job. Just a point of clarification, man. You know, those videos, whether it's going at Seti or Pharaoh or Brother Polite, David Banner, Sonetta, Hebrew Israelites, whoever, my intention, you know, the point of those videos is not, this isn't some woke battle. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't some woke YouTube video battle where I make a video about what I know versus what he knows, and I try to prove him wrong so I can be the winner. Yeah, I got him. It's corny. You know what I mean? Really what it is me doing my best to put the information in that same space so that people don't believe the propaganda that some of these people are putting out. You know, it's the same thing with Mike. It's, you know, if you don't say anything and you allow all of these videos and these different characters to say whatever, and you don't put that clean glass of water up next to all the dirty ones, then the people have no choice but to drink from the dirty glass, especially if they're thirsty. You know what I mean? If they really seeking knowledge, you know, if knowledge is water, if they really thirsty and they really need a glass of water, like, oh my God, I need a glass of water right now, and it's just a table full of dirty water, they probably just gonna pick the dirty water that looks the cleanest. You know what I mean? Or that doesn't look the dirtiest. It's like, yeah, I guess I'll have that one. It don't look that bad, but it's still bad for you. And so my thing is really to present information, this knowledge, this clean, this not dirty, this not muddied up with lies and slander and, you know, just nonsense, you know. So I don't, you know, I don't want to come off like our goal should be to get at Seti or Pharaoh or whoever. It's really about the information and getting the information out there. Tavo Vasquez. Yes, Tulsi foreign policy is on point. Thank you for pointing that out. I've been watching as of late this brother on, he has a YouTube channel called MCSC, Mikasa Sukasa. Shit, excuse my name. I forget the brother's name at the moment, but amazing brother. He does news videos and breaks down different aspects of the news, and that's how I got put on to Tulsi, and then I started listening to her and her stances on our foreign affairs, our as in the U.S., and she's the real deal. She's about love instead of hate. You know what I mean? And us not going to war and killing people, and not us, the U.S. not going to war and killing people. I don't like to say us like I'm in it with. Well, technically I am, because, you know, he is a U.S. citizen, or quote unquote. But anyways, my point is that Tulsi's stance on the different wars, like in Syria, and I believe she spoke out on Yemen also, but she's talking about we don't need to be in these wars. We need to get out of there. That doesn't help us in any way, and lays it out in really one of the most honest ways that I've ever seen someone on that level as a politician kind of speak about war. So really pay attention to Tulsi, and Andrew Yang too. You know what I mean? Don't sleep on my Asian brethren. You know what I mean? My Asiatic kinfolk. Question. Are there any Moors you would not recommend their teachings? Yes. It's a lot of people. Um, However, that energy just isn't the most helpful. So what I would say is I suggest you study what Noble Drew Ali said. If you want to learn about Moors, go to that person first. Before me, before Taj, before Cujo, before Asir, before Red Pill, Blue Pill, before um, Bobby Hemmett, before Freeman L, before Sabir Bey, before any and every other Moor that you can find on a YouTube channel, talking they talk, wearing affairs. Before any of that, study what Noble Drew Ali said. That's the key. You study what Noble Drew Ali said, you ain't gonna go wrong. That's the way I suggest people study. You know what I mean? That's how you don't get thrown off. Let me see. What's good, money boy? Let me think. I hit Michael Jackson, hit Andrew Yang, Tulsi. What I liked about Andrew Yang, if you can, go look into go watch his interview with the Breakfast Club, Andrew Yang. I mean, he has other interviews that are important, and I think you should listen to because he really lays out some different perspectives on how our society can be and how this country can be. But listen to the one on the Breakfast Club because he breaks down several different concepts that I think would be really beneficial to us. Uh, and then go donate $1 to him. Get him on that stage. You know what I mean? Because he's about solutions. You know what I mean? He understands what's going on also. Um, I wasn't saying that Asir wasn't the truth. What I'm saying is that oftentimes we, specifically black people or so-called black people, Moorish, we tend to buy into characters or personas of individuals, and we tend to get too caught up into liking the person and not listening to the message. And that's why I direct people to Noble Drew Ali, because then it's not about how you like how he's saying it, or you know you think it's cool the way he rocking his fez. It's the information. What is the information? Focus on the information, not the person or the character or the persona. Let's see something else. And was there any other questions? If not, then I think I may get into a little bit of this. Maybe a little bit of this. Mysteries of the Silent Brotherhood of the East. I think that may be it. Excuse me. How do you feel about Walter Williams' book on the origins of Islam? I don't know. I didn't read the book. And I don't know what Phil Valentine said about it. And I don't know what Wesley Muhammad's comments were. Or I don't know if you're referring to his comments on the book or his comments in general. I don't know. I appreciate people writing, producing literature. Ultimately, I tend to go back to and study what Noble Drew Ali said. he had something very important to say about what is Islam. It's a very short little chapter. You should look it up. Do a quick Google search. Just Noble Ali, what is Islam? See what comes up. That's that's pretty good. Um, any other questions though? I'm gonna just look for this section that I want to read real quick. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. I knew I should have just put that little page inside of the book so I wouldn't have lost the page. But it is what it is. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did. I had this book set called The World's Greatest Men of Color. What's your name, brother? Money Boy Films. I had this book called The Greatest Men of Color, I think, or The World's Greatest Men of Color by J. Rogers. And if I'm not mistaken, Sonny Ali was in that book as one of the people that was being honored. So I did a little bit of reading, but I don't remember in detail of what exactly Sonny Ali did. I feel like he was from West Africa though, and besides that, I can't remember too much. Honestly, that's like several years ago. Nah, hey man, I read some things, man, but I am not. I've never claimed to be one that knows all or some super scholar. You know what I mean? I don't know it all. I just try to do what I can. Not try. I do what I can. Study as best I can. Mm. Well, this isn't what I was looking for, but I'll read this. When scandal is busy and the fame of her neighbors is tossed from tongue to tongue, if charity and good nature open not her mouth, the finger of silence rests on her lip. It's talking about gossiping and how to not. Well, this one is really instructions for the woman, but it can apply to us too. You know, when you hear people gossiping about your neighbor, somebody you know what I mean? Don't join in with that gossip. If you ain't got nothing good to say, Mama always told me that. Mama always told me that. Mm-hmm. Mama always told me that. Man, I done lost the page. Ah, okay. Sonny Ali was a West African king. Okay, word. Yeah, I don't. I knew. I don't remember much, but I just remember reading that section and remembering that some dude named Sonny Ali was doing some major things out of West Africa. Um. Uh. Well, if that's to answer your question, to follow up on the question about Walter Williams, the origins of Islam, if I don't know because I haven't read the book, so I would need to read the book to know to see for myself. But basing on what you're saying and how if it is trying to put forth the idea that Islam was constructed in the late 1800s. Um, I would say those people are grossly misinformed, you know. But to be honest, I would really need to see the book and see what they are saying specifically to know for sure. But I do know the young Pharaoh. Um, I do know the young Pharaoh is either extremely ignorant about the history and the history of Islam and Islam as a religion. Um, he's either extremely ignorant about it or he's knowledgeable and purposefully lying and intentionally lying and misleading people, um, which is very well possible also, because people lie, people spread propaganda. You know, that's really what happens. Fumble. I caught it though. Uh, and so either way, it's disappointing, but it's no different than what's happening with Mike or what's happening with Noble Drew Ali and this Moorish movement. Um, People tend to spread lies and propaganda and try to put misinformation out, um, when the truth will change things, when the truth will disrupt things. And I think the truth about Islam will disrupt a lot of what's going on here in the US and around the world, which is why there's been such an attack on Islam. um, I think we're getting towards the end. Let's see here real quick. I'll do this real quick. Um, question. Besides Kevin Gates, are there any Moorish rappers you can tell us about? Yasin Bey, also was known as Mos Def. That's a Moorish rapper, if you will. Common, he name dropped Noble Drew Ali. Nas, he was talking about Moors. Stolly, Ghostface Killer. Um, People know. J Electronica. You know, it's out there. And unless you mean by Moorish rapper, you mean rappers that specifically speak on Moorish things, because if you just mean Moorish rappers, well, you know, most of the rappers are Moorish. You know what I mean? We just been calling ourselves black. Yeah. So with that, I think let me read this last little piece and then get up out of here. I appreciate y'all tapping in. Let's see. Nothing's popping out at me just yet. I usually just try to find something that just kind of jumps out of the page at me. Nah, not that one. Ooh. It's possible. We seen it possible. We seen it possible. We seen it possible, but I think I read that one before. I try to switch it up also, but I do have my personal favorites. All right, I think I'm gonna do that one, and then I'm gonna. Man, there's some good stuff in here. Some good stuff. You got to read this Circle 7. Some good stuff in here. Okay, all right, all right, all right, all right. Just gotta find something. All right. Yeah, so I got a couple that I'm gonna get to. Let me see about what y'all was saying. Okay. Any other questions before I get up out of here? Any other questions? Last thing before I get up out of here. No? Alright, alright, alright. Here we go. Excuse me. Man, there's some good stuff. I gotta read this once I get off live, man. I'm seeing some good stuff. I gotta do some more studying. All right, we're gonna read this one and we're gonna get up out of here. Let's see. Any other questions? Nah, it's Adam and Eve. Yeah. Excuse me. All right. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. This one just won. This one just won. I seen another one, but this one just won. So here we go. This is chapter 10, and it's Jesus. Jesus spake on the unity of Allah and man to the Hindus. Benares in the sacred city of Brahms, and in Benares Jesus taught. Udraka was his host. Udraka made a feast in honor of his guests, and many high-born Hindu priests and scribes were there. And Jesus said to him with much delight, I speak to you concerning life, the brotherhood of life. The universal Allah is one, yet he is more than one. All things are one. By the sweet breath of Allah, all life is bound in one. So if you touch a fiber of a living thing, you send a thrill from the center to the outer bounds of life. And when you crush beneath your feet the meanest worm, you shake the throne of Allah and cause the sword of life to tremble in its sheath. The birds sing out its song for men, and men vibrate in unison to help it sing. The ant constructs its home. The bee is sheltering comb. The spider weaves her webs, and bowers breathe to them a spirit in their sweet perfume that gives them strength to toil. Now, men and birds and beasts and creepy things are deities made flesh. Let me read that one more time. Men and birds and beasts and creeping things are deities made flesh. And how dare you kill anything? It is cruelty that makes the world awry. And when men have learned that when they harm a living thing, they harm themselves, they surely will not kill nor cause a thing that Allah has made to suffer pain. And a lawyer said, I pray to Jesus, tell us, who is this Allah you speak about? Where are his priests, his temples, and his shrines? And Jesus said, the Allah I speak about is everywhere. He cannot be compassed with walls, nor hedged about with bounds of any kind. All people worship Allah, but all the people see him not alike. This universal Allah is wisdom, will, and love. I think I'm gonna stop there. You should read the rest of chapter 10. It's an amazing chapter. And you should just read this whole book. It's an amazing book, the Holy Quran, or the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, or the Moorish Science Temple of America, also known as the Quran Circle 7, prepared by Noble Drew Ali, the universal prophet, sent to this world to help us all, but especially the black people, because we needed him the most, so-called black people. Man, I think that's it. Just check real quick. Yeah, I think that's it. Spread love. Play some Michael Jackson today. Play that Man in the Mirror. Really listen to them lyrics. Heal the world. Play some Tupac Changes also while we at it. And remember the time. Yeah. All right. Much love to you. Peace.